Okay, Jose. Here, let's see. So we took a look at all this up to, so nursery, kindergarten, primary school, elementary school, middle school, junior school, senior high, and all that. This is primary and secondary, right? And then where do kids go? It's the post-secondary. Post-secondary school, or tertiary school, which is either college or university. Now, right after this, I want to take a look at that, and then I want to come back to the beginning and do some real quick one. So, right, what do we call that kind of education? We call it post-secondary or tertiary.
Tertiary.
Yes, tertiary.
Tertiary.
So this is post-secondary or tertiary.
Tertiary.
And so speaking of post-secondary or tertiary school, let me write it again here. Post-secondary or tertiary.
Tertiary.
Is that correct? Sometimes you may notice some, yeah. So, now speaking of post-secondary or tertiary school, we are talking about either college on one side. Can you write better? Can you do a better job? So we do college versus, versus? Bless you. University. Is it too cold here?
No,
If it is, I can go like one up.
it's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So we have college versus university. Amazing. College versus university. Now, we call this further education, and we call this higher education. So we have higher education and further education. So further education and higher education. And then we will talk about that a bit. Okay? So I do want to go back to school and see what happens in school and take a look at school. Look at the school subjects, what we study at school, and how we pass all this, and then we go to college. Look at some of those words there. And then get back to this part. So college versus university, and which one is better, and which is which, and what is what, and how different they are, and what they have to offer. So let's go back. And I'm like, okay, let's go back, or let's stay here for a while. Let's stay for just a few seconds here. When I finish high school, I get a diploma, right? High school diploma. High school diploma, right? You guys get a diploma after 9 years?
No.
You don't get no diploma? So what do you get? Nothing?
The marks.
You get just transcripts, right? The marks, the grades. So what we call transcripts here. Transcripts are only the marks. Marks. So, or grades. And then transcripts, that is the record of those marks. And I will go back to this. There's something also called GPA. What is GPA? What does it stand for? General Point Average. This is the average. You study math, physics, literature, art, all of the marks together, and then at the end you got, for example, A plus or A minus or whatever, or 4. In US we have out of 4. In Spain we have out of, what's the grade you're out of 4? Out of 4. In Japan, out of 100, 4, 20, 10.
University? High school?
In high school.
High school. I don't remember.
You don't know. Thank you. In Switzerland?
4.
The
I
fi-
guess
4.
pass.
4.
6 is the best.
6 is the top. Top is in the US. Top is 4 for university and stuff. So like you have 6
Yes.
tops. Cool. Perfect. It's different, from. Now, here, when you get a high school diploma and you go to college and all that, we want to get there and what happens with degrees you study. But now I want to flash back to school. So, after nursery and we get to go to school, and there are things that we study. What do we call the things that we study? For example, if I study math, what is math?
Subject.
It's a subject, exactly. We have school subjects. So when we go to school, we call them subjects. When we go to college and university, we call them, then when we grow up and go to courses and programs. Courses and programs. Yeah? They're not subjects anymore. So when you go to university or college, you do courses and programs. When you go to school, there's subjects. Okay, give me the subjects. Let's take a look. Let's start with something I hated. Math.
I like it.
You like it? Do you like math?
Excel.
Yeah, you're all alone. Ooh. Okay. So the British people say differently. What do they say?
Mathematics.
They add an S here.
Mathematics.
So they say maths.
Maths.
And remember, it's not maths, it's maths. Like TH. That's the way you pronounce it. Maths.
Math.
Maths is British, and also Canadians use it sometimes.
Maths.
But math is American. So math.
Mathematics.
So if you're taking CAE, you gotta go and say maths. Or say mathematics. Or mathematics. Mathematics. Mathematics.
Mathematics.
Mathematics, right? So let's take a look at the list. Actually, mathematics, we have some different branches of math. What are they? Can you name things? For example, those things like 2 plus 2, 4. Now we have arithmetic, or arithmetics. We have, what do we call this? Algebra.
Geometry.
Yeah. We have, what is algebra? 2x plus 4.
Geometry.
This is algebra.
Yeah.
We have geometry. What is it? Like there's a thing, and there's 5 centimeters. So you gotta say, okay, what is this? X. So this is geometry. What else do we have? Trigonometry. I hate all this. Trigonometry. And then we have also calculus.
Calculus.
Like there's this, there's something like this. Like that, it's calculus. So we have different fields in math. If you ever hear mathematics, well, we usually see math. You study math. So math, mathematics, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus. Yeah? And also at university, we have something that's related to numbers. Do you know what that is? It's a field that's related to numbers. Now, if you want to say, for example, 5% of people are like that, 20% of people are like that, statistics. That's a university thing. Statistics. We don't normally study this at school, right? We don't study statistics at school.
Statistics.
So speaking of school subjects, we have math, mathematics.
Science.
And I want to say goodbye to this part. Okay, whenever you're done. And let me do this here. Only here, this part. So say math or maths. A person who studies math would become a? What do we call a person who studies math and goes to school and university and studies math? That person becomes a?
Mathematics.
Uh-huh. What? What?
What?
What?
Mathematics.
Yeah. Give it to me. So a person who studies math becomes a mathematician.
Mathematician.
Because these guys are like magicians. What do you say in German for this? Mathematician? Something like that?
Mathematical.
Yeah.
Mathematical.
Yeah. It's so close to. Ja. Not yeah. Ja.
Mathematical.
So mathematician, right?
Mathematician.
So we also have, what other subjects we have? We have science. Yeah, we have science. Usually in elementary school they say science for everything. A person who studies science becomes a
Scientific.
scientist.
Scientist.
What do you mean scientific? Come on, scientist. Now we know scientific facts, for example, scientific experiments. What else do we study at school? So science. Now, speaking of science, then when we go to high school, we study other things, like other elements of science, other components of science. For example, we study biology.
Chemist.
And a person who studies biology becomes a biologist, right? If we study chemistry, a person becomes a? If you study chemistry, you become a chemist.
Chemist.
Chemistry, chemist. Biology, biologist. Science, you become a scientist. We have some other things also. If you study about the earth, what do we call that? Physics, physics, physics is good. No, let's have physics first. It's very important. If you study physics, what do you become?
Physical.
Physics.
Good. Can I say, have you heard the word physician? Like mathematician, physician? Well, what does that mean? If you study physics, you become a physicist.
Physicist.
Like Claudia just said, physicist. But physician, who's a physician? Who is a physician? A medical? A physician is a medical doctor. So remember, some people mix up these two. This is not physicist, a medical doctor. I'm going to my physician. I'm going to see my physician. Who's a physician? So physics, physicist, physician. Who's a physician? Is your doctor, medical doctor. That's a physician. A physicist is somebody who studies physics. So we have biology, biologist, chemistry, chemist, physics, physicist.
Physicist.
What else?
Geology.
Geology, geology, geologist. If you study history, what happens? You will become a?
Story.
What do we call a person who studies history? Historian.
Historian.
Historian. History historian. Geography. Geographer. History, historian. Geography, geographer. You may study art. You become an
Artist.
artist. Now this could be music. You become a
Musician.
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 Claudia, say musician.
Musician.
Very good. Musician. Musician. Music, musician. Here you can become a composer. You can become a performer. You can become a vocalist.
Musician.
Yeah? You can become a songwriter.
Economy.
Well, that's university. Study economy, become an economist. That's different. We will go there. We'll be there in a bit. So, what else do we study at school? You talked about industrial arts. You know industrial arts? We call them industrial arts. Industrial arts. Like woodwork, like metalwork. Like woodwork, metalwork, like boys do welding and all that. Sometimes they teach girls how to knit, sew, yeah? Things like that. Painting, if you're painting, you become a painter.
Sports.
Very good, very good. What do we call that at school? Sports. Does anybody have any idea? What do we call sports at school?
Physique.
Has to do with that.
PE.
PE, thank you. Where did you get it? Did you cheat?
No.
No?
I
Good.
learned in junior high.
In junior high, very good. Why PE? Because it's physical education. So if you do a lot of physical education, at the end you become and what? So you study PE, huh? An
Athletic.
athlete.
Athletic.
You become an athlete, huh? Who's an athlete? Like a sportsman or sportswoman, huh? Like a sportsman or a sportswoman of an athlete. What else do we study at school?
Literary.
Very good. Literature. Languages, literature. Very good. So we can study languages. Or literature, our own language. In literature we study poetry, prose, poetry, poems, and you know poet? Poet is like what? So what is the difference between poem and poet? You know? Can you name the poet? Like Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
It's a poet. The poem is the thing that he writes. Poems and, like. Prose is the opposite of poem. Prose is like, for example, short story, novel. Short story, novel. So in language we have prose and poetry. Poetry is poets, like that. Prose is like everything but text.
And poems. Poem.
Poem, when you write poetry, poetry is the
Yeah.
name of you write the whole name for writing poems.
This is.
You know poems, Claudia?
Yes.
You write poems. And this is poetry. For example, I don't say, are you interested in poems? I say, are you interested in poetry? That is study of poems. Poetry is the study of poems and how to write poems, how to read poems, what poems mean. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you into poetry?
No.
You don't like poetry, huh?
Poetry
German-
slam. We have this in Switzerland.
Do you have
Poetry slam.
you do.
It's like an art.
It's like art, yeah. But do you study that at school, like literature?
Yes.
You study literature.
But only a half year. Or something.
Only a half year.
Yes.
Like Goethe was.
Yes.
very famous-
Shakespeare and
Do you also study some Shakespeare?
yes.
Do you study Goethe?
What?
Goethe. Goethe.
Yes.
How do you say it?
Goethe.
Goethe. Yeah. That's Goethe. Yeah, Goethe. Yeah. He was a philosopher and a poet also, right?
Yeah.
So, German philosopher and poet. So literature, languages,
Philosophy.
philosophy. If you study philosophy, you become a
Philosopher.
philosopher. Some schools, there are religious studies, huh?
Yeah.
Religious studies. Some schools teach ethics. If it's ethics, if it's religious studies. Now, if you study religious studies, in here you can become what? Or theology, they also call it theology, the study of God. And so you can become a priest, clergyman, theologian. Yeah? So these are different subjects. Yeah? These are different subjects. Any subject that's left? Let me also take a look at this here. Computer science, IT, guys. I want to talk about it. Yeah? You can study, you can study computer science and IT. So, computer science or IT. If you study computer science, what happens? What do you become? You can become a programmer. You can become a software developer, so on and so forth. Now, that we will talk about this later, but computer science we have at schools too. Now, we're done with this. How do teachers, when we go to school, how do we pass one grade and move to another grade? How does that happen? How do we move up? How do we advance? We go to school. How do teachers assess? Assess to assess students. Assessment. Evaluate. Evaluation. How does this happen? How do teachers assess the students? How do they evaluate? How do they know if a student is really doing fine?
Class.
Good. Something that I hate is like test, exam. So, quiz. Students give a test, or what do students do with a test? What do you do, Claudia, with a test? Okay. What is the verb? What do I do with a test? I test? Do I test myself?
I take.
Students take a test. So to take a test, an exam, or a quiz. Take. Also, we have to sit a test. To sit an exam. To sit an exam. To sit a test. But teachers give or administer tests, right? They give tests. So teachers give tests, students take them, right? Teachers test us. So examination, right? A final midterm. So we have term or semester, right? Sometimes we have trimesters, which is 3 months. In some countries we have trimester, which is 3 months, right? A trimester. I'm not sure if in your countries it's semesters. That is almost half the year is one semester. 3. Your terms are, so that's a term, but that's a trimester.
Trimester.
Trimester, because it's 3. So in your country it's 3 months?
Yeah.
This is a trimester.
Christmas, spring, and summer.
So it's,
Yes, start in October. The first one ends in Christmas time.
uh-huh.
And the next one is spring. And the last one until
September?
until July.
Oh, so it's like everyone is 3 months? But that's still, I think, a semester, because in trimester you have, during 1 year, you have 3 semesters and summer is off.
The course is nine months.
9 months.
Because we have 3 months on vacation.
So it's pretty much like semester thing.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So when we take a test, there are 2 options. We either, if I have a good mark,
Pass.
I pass. Pass, no, pass.
Pass.
Or
Fail.
fail or pass. To fail
Never.
or pass a test, right? Now, if I fail a test, what happens? What should I do?
Repeat.
To repeat what? Sometimes I can take the test again. I can resit the test.
Reset.
To resit the test. But if I can't do that, to repeat the course, right? Repeat the course. Or to resit the test, the exam, or the test. But sometimes, no way. If I fail, and the teacher said, no, you have to repeat the course. I have to do the course again. But sometimes you can resit the exam, do the exam again. You can retake the exam. You can take the CAE as many times as you want. Yeah. Take 1, take 2, take 3. Okay, let's say goodbye to the assessment and evaluation here. And of course the teacher would mark papers and you'll look at your grades. We will see what the difference is. For example, at CAE, we have a grade, and we have a score, and then we have level. This is CAE. In IELTS, we have score, and we have a band score. I'll talk about these things tomorrow. Tomorrow I will familiarize you with the tests and the format of the tests, what the tests are like, hopefully. You come? Are you ready for that? Okay. Of course, the teachers to mark papers, what teachers do is they mark papers and then they give you scores, grades, or marks.
Mark
And
is like evaluate.
Yeah, mark is like, you say for example, 96
Okay.
out of 100. I'm marking.
After evaluate, you mark.
It's, yes. But evaluation could be even like oral, so when you talk, I'm evaluating. It could be formal, like when you take a test, there's something else we do when we take a test.
Treat.
Yeah,
Copycat.
that's amazing. Typical. Cheat. Cheat on a test. Well, if you cheat on your boyfriend, what does that mean? Of course you know. Nothing, it's usual. So, well, if you cheat on a test, usual? No, don't do that. I'm not encouraging this bad behavior. Okay. So we talked about school subjects. How about the staff and personnel? In a school, we have the staff, right? School staff. Or, how do we say this? Personnel. So there's stresses here. It's not like personal. Like this is my personal, whatever, it's my personal belongings. It's not like that. Personnel is different from personal. It's personnel. Personnel. Pick up.
Personnel.
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 Good. Mako.
Personnel.
Personal.
And this one?
Personal.
Personal.
This is personnel. This is personal. So the personnel of the school means the staff of the school. So the word staff is like we have, for example, team, family, class, staff. We call them collective nouns. It means they could be singular or plural, depending on what we mean. If I say the family is or the family are, both are possible, but it depends. If I say the family is, my family is coming to visit us, I'm talking about the family as a unit. If I say the family are, the team are having lunch, the team are having lunch, I mean everybody's having lunch. I'm talking about every individual person. But if I say the team is very happy and in high spirits, I'm talking about the team as a unit. Our team is playing against your team next week. I'm talking about one unit. The whole thing is one unit. Yeah? Yep. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, 2 minutes to 3. Cool, perfect. Feels even better. So, during the day, you have a break, right? Or recess at school. But we also have recess for long breaks. Like for example, the summer, the fall recess. That means the break between when you have holidays and all that. Also, that's also called recess. Let me at least finish school, and we'll look at colleges tomorrow, the higher education tomorrow. But at least this part.
This is.
What parts do we have in a school? Inside a school, inside the class, we have classrooms, right? What else? So when you enter school, we have classrooms.
Lab.
We have a lab, or what's called laboratory, right?
That, yeah.
The British people say laboratory sometimes. Laboratory.
Laboratory.
Lab. What else? Where else do we have at school? And speaking of the personnel, I wanted to talk about the personnel of the school. So it starts with, who is the most important person at a school?
The director.
What do we call the director? Usually the principal. schoolmaster, schoolmaster or mistress. We usually say schoolmaster, the principal. And then we have the principal's office, right? No kid wants to get sent to the principal's office. You have to go to the principal's office and talk to
Have you been there?
a lot.
Me too.
Go to the principal's office. Stand there, wait, and then all the stuff. Yeah. So we have the principal, he also has an assistant, right? So we have assistant principal,
It's not secretary.
or principal. We have the administrative clerk,
Okay.
administrative
And do you have department
clerk.
like math department?
Yeah, there are some schools that have that, but usually it's at university. Usually the teachers in a school, we have the teacher's room. So everybody sits in the teacher's room. So teacher's room. Or sometimes they say teacher's lounge. And then the teachers sit in the teacher's room or teacher's lounge. The laboratory, the classroom, school assistant. Who else? A person who cleans up everywhere and what do we call that person? And we're done in a minute. Custodian.
Custodian. How do you call the?
What do you call?
For example, I have some different teachers, one for math, one for music, but the main teacher for all class.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
a main
what-
teacher.
Main teacher. Okay.
Well, we have the main teacher, but then we have sometimes
Like
we have
he represent or she represent our class.
yeah, we also have a teacher assistant or aide or assistant. Assistant teacher. We have assistant teacher. And, for kids we have assistant teachers, and then we have our teaching aide or not teacher aide, assistant teacher.
Assistant.
A teaching aide. Okay. Then we have a counselor that talks to children with problems, right? Counselor. Counselor. We have educational counselor, we have career counselor at high school. Yeah. Do you have a career counselor in Japan? They tell you about what fields are there, if you want to go to the job market, what you should do. No? Yeah. Okay. Just this and we're done. So in the school we have the principal's office, we have the classrooms, we have the laboratory, we have the teacher's room, and we have of course the washrooms. We have the auditorium. Where's the auditorium?
Place. Like theater.
We have the amphitheater.
Picture.
But auditorium, we have the speech hall. We have a speech hall where people go for speeches. Auditorium is like that, where students gather. And amphitheater. And that's it. In terms of the personnel, we talked about it. There's some other people like speech therapists, people who help with speeches and all that.
On the outside, the place in the children.
Yeah, we have the schoolyard.
Schoolyard.
And for kids, we have playground. Library, guys. The kitchen or the canteen.
The canteen.
What do you call it? Canteen is like where you go for lunch, right?
Yeah.
Lunchroom. Canteen, kitchen, canteen. That's it. So, and for now, that's enough. We'll have another one on this.